I've only done one tips and tricks video. I need to do another one. Anyways, let's get into it. Also, only 20% of people are subscribed, so consider subscribing, but let's start. So there are a few weird buildings in Unturned. One of these being the bank, where they can have just some weird items like cobra sights, bandanas, scopes, suppressors, and sometimes even honey badgers. You should check these weird locations for items that you normally wouldn't get. You can also check the washing machine in Seattle. Sometimes it can spawn legendary items just like the bank, and it's spawning a honey badger. What's funny is one time I have found a washing machine, and it had a rocket launcher in it, and that was really funny. So, it's definitely worth checking them out, especially the banks, because, like I said, I have found the honey badger there, and I like the honey badger. Speaking of odd locations, some of the odd locations are unmarked on the map. For example, the submarine on Washington. If you go to these unmarked locations, then you'll just find some things that, you would normally kind of expect. Bandanas, military attachments, etc. But some of these unmarked locations can have up to, like, shadow stalkers to mega loot. Even the helicopter, this crashed helicopter that you're seeing on screen now, it can have a mega spawning there. And it is really useful to loot here since it's just really good loot. It can have low caliber military, guns, headlamps, just all sorts of things, and it's especially good for raiding gear. Some of these unmarked locations can have little Easter eggs and legendary items like the Shadow Stalker. Many of them are actually lore reveals, or just little areas that are really useful. In order to learn all of the unmarked locations, you might have to look up a guide. But I find it fun just looking around the map, trying to find all the unmarked locations, and getting the loot as I go. An item you should invest in is the generator. The generator is useful on its own, especially to power turrets and stuff like that. But you can also, for roleplay, open up the ATMs, and then steal money from them. So, that's one use for them, but it's not as useful in PvP. So, another use is to use it on vending machines. Now this is personally what I use it the most for, and it's just to get water. Water can sometimes just be a difficult thing to get, but when you're going around with a generator and a gas can, you can just plop down the generator, pick up the gas, or put the gas in there, and then just grab the soda, put your gas back in the gas can, grab the generator, and just go off to the next one, and basically infinite water. Generators can also be used to unlock areas that you normally wouldn't be able to. For example, in the military base, normally you cannot get cars out of there. However, if you open up the little gate, then you can get cars out. And there's also a place on Russia, near the bottom of Silo 22, in order to go to an area that I honestly haven't been to. But I mean, it's there. Megas can be a little bit difficult to fight. Now there's one way to fight them, which is to cheese them by going on the high ground and going to a place where they can't hit you, but you can hit them or shoot them. That's one way, but that's boring. So I'm going to show you another way, which is basically just dodging the rocks or going out of there where they're able to go. My personal favorite is just going prone when he throws a rock at you. But I mean, if you're really bad, like I am sometimes, you can just walk outside of the radius that the Mega is able to go to and just shoot him. Honeycomb base designs are easily the best base design for Unturned. In this, you can compact so many different rooms that they will have no idea which one to choose. Because if they choose the wrong room, absolutely nothing, and they have like just wasted all of their materials. And not only that, but you can have like dead rooms. For example, a room that is completely behind a wall, and you have no physical access into it otherwise, unless of course you broke through the wall. So it's mostly just a bunch of triangles in the middle, and then you are to place a regular floor with a triangle. Of course you can't see it. Then floor, triangle, floor, etc. And that's where it gets its honeycombs, because it's just a bunch of different rooms, and there's so many rooms they have to get through, and if they don't check every single thing, they may never find all the loot. One of my favorite features in Unturned is actually something that is not in very many other games. So there is the server history. Now with the server history, what you can do is you can join a server that you've played on before. Now, most games, or I should say a lot of games like this that have servers, have this of course. But instead of having a server run for 24 hours, what they do is they close the server, but then you can open it back up by going through your history. This means they can give free servers, and it just doesn't cost them that much because the server isn't running for 24 hours. So I can just go, hey, my friend is not online, so let's say he hosted the server that I'm currently on. He's not on, the server goes down, and so when we want it back up, we can just click on it, and it starts going, and it will say ticket fulfilled, and the server will just pop up, even though I am not the host of it. Now, if you are really dumb and you like to get your car into the water because you think it's a submarine, you can actually use a car jack to get it out. With compared to the flight random skill upgrade, you can actually get it out of the water. It doesn't instantly destroy it like it does in GTA, for example. After you get it out of the water, it will actually be drivable. If you don't know where the random skill upgrade is, it's at the bottom of the skills, and you press triangle, and you get a random one. You needed the first one, which is called flight. With that, you can just fling your car out of the water. Or, I guess, with what I'm about to do, fling it back into it. If you're having troubles going into dead zones, what you should do is raid a fire station and try and find filters and a gas mask. Gas masks and filters are kind of rare, so every time you see a fire station, I recommend that you go through them. This is so when you get the chance, you can go through a dead zone, which, like we said earlier, will have like up to legendary loot. And if not legendary, then it will just have some pretty decent loot. So I'm gonna be honest, PvP is not exactly my strong point, but I can give you a few tips. Number one is, if you see a player, don't shoot them immediately. Instead, try and get into a position where you know you will get a kill. For example, right there, I went into a position where I knew I would kill them. Also, if a player is fighting you and you're in the open, you can place a barricade randomly, and they'll have to break through the barricade in order to get to you. And if they try and push you, well, you can just get the upper hand and use your positioning because they will be out in the open. The takeaway to this is basically use cover and don't get caught in the open. That's why during a PvP, you should actually run on the sides of the roads rather than on the roads. For example, like in the trees. This is just so players won't see you and you won't get caught in the open. I think the final and most important tip is to play with your friends. Unturned is a game that you can play single player, but it's the best for multiplayer. The amount of roleplay you can do and the amount of PvP you can do is just amazing. There really isn't that much single player content in the game. You can build stuff, but you're gonna get bored after a while. And you can't really like take over a city. I mean, you can try, but it's gonna get boring. In order to get the full Unturned experience, you need to play with friends. And if you don't have any friends, I recommend going through and just checking out some live streams. I know the live stream community isn't exactly strong on Unturned, especially on Twitch when like the most I've ever seen are like 40 viewers, so go support them. I know like half of them are console players, but they're always at the bottom because, you know, there's not as many console players. So shout out to the people who do stream this game. And anyways, thank you for watching. I respect all of you. Like and subscribe. And yet again, thanks for 600 subscribers if you did miss the stream last night. And I will see you guys in the next video.